Yo, check 1 2. Hey, what's up, guys? So pretty excited to do this. Trying something a little different in collaboration with AuraFest. If you guys aren't aware who Timothy Wells is, he's the guy that books AuraFest. It's this huge metalcore slash deathcore slash whatever you want to call it kind of genre that happens in Savannah once a year. Anyway, he reached out to us and wanted to try something a little different, wanted to kind of get the community more involved with each other a little bit. And that's what we have today. We're going to be interviewing this band called Omenkiller, who is a local Savannah deathcore act. They have some shows coming up, I believe, in Texas, but also playing in Savannah and stuff. And Timothy wanted us to do an interview with these guys, specifically Ben, their vocalist, and just kind of have a chat with him and see what the deal is. So again, thanks to Timothy for doing this, and thanks to AuraFest for sponsoring this. So without further ado, Ben, what's up, man? Hey, guy. Oh, it's like I hadn't seen you before. It's so weird how that works. How you feeling, man? How's your vibes? That's awesome, man. Yeah, we appreciate you coming along and trying this out. It's actually a pretty interesting concept, man. Having a promoter for, I mean, pretty much the metal promoter, as far as I know, for local and even bigger touring acts in Savannah, saying, hey, this band, you guys should interview these bands for all their shows coming up. I mean, I think it's a pretty cool concept, man. Yeah, for sure. When did you guys start playing with him? When did he book you guys the first time?
I know we were supposed to play Mosh for Tots, and then we didn't end up being able to play that because our drummer at the time actually got sick with COVID.
That sucks.
Did play a Halloween show with Tim with 156 Silence, and that was awesome. I've known Tim a long time. He was booking shows back when my first band was around back in 2014, 2015. So
wow.
We knew each other a while. So he's good people to work with.
Yeah. So he's been at it for a minute. I didn't realize he had been doing that stuff that long. So you said you guys were playing, or you were supposed to play Mosh for Tots, and that kind of fell through. Did the whole show fall through? Did it end up happening, or was it just
no? The show. The
drummer issue with the COVID, right?
Yeah. So we were the only band that had to drop off, but our buddies in Homicide still played, and we got a lot of videos of their set, and it looked just absolutely crazy. It looks like it got pretty violent in there. So I was like, damn, I wish we had gotten to be a part of that. But
right.
That it, regardless,
Yeah, I wish you had been in that part of that craziness for sure. It's a little bittersweet because you're like, hey, that's cool. The show did well, but man, I wish we would have been there. But I mean, shit happens, man. It's life. I mean, I hope the drummer's doing okay from having the COVID 69, whatever it is now, right? But yeah, man. So first thing I want to ask you, man, just what is up with you guys getting interviewed by Savannah's local? It was like a Channel 5 news outlet. What? So many questions here because this is so wild to me, and probably a lot of other people are wondering this. So. So let me just go ahead and say real quick, people that might be watching this, Omenkiller got invited by a local news organization to do an interview with them. And when you think about underground deathcore and metalcore, you don't think about being on the Channel 5 news, right? It's just so odd. So many questions. Who reached out to who first off, and what was that process like? I mean, explain that whole story, man. Give us the details.
Yeah. So Omenkiller has an Instagram, of course. And I just checked our Instagram DMs a few days ago.
Real quick, what's your Instagram?
Omenkiller Band.
There you go.
That'd be
awesome. You guys want to go follow Omenkiller Band, is at Omenkiller Band. Anyway, we had to make that plug real quick, but go on.
Yeah, so Chris, I believe his last name is Chris Baronato. messaged us on our Instagram, and he was like, "Hey, I'm a writer for Savannah Morning News. I'd like to interview you guys. When could we do that?" And I was like, "What?" like you said, like a big, Savannah Morning News. You don't really. They're paying attention to underground, deathcore. So yeah, I was like, dude, of course, like, let's do it. So we set up a date, and we hopped on a phone call for about a half hour. Super nice guy. I get the feeling that he's into heavy music because he used the terms like he had used them before, Mm-hmm. And he just asked us, what made us get started, where we're going, yada yada, and it was pretty crazy to see like our name and everything on Savannah Now. I was like, wow, that's a blessing, man. I mean, shout out to Chris for asking us to come on and do all of that. But yeah, definitely not where you expect to see a heavy music act land.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the last place you would expect to see it. I mean, you're scrolling through, and then it's, oh, hey, local grandma donates X amount of things to local charity, and then oh, hey, here's a band called Omenkiller, local deathcore music, and then you're scrolling and oh, hey, here's today's weather.
Yeah, no, literally like sandwiched between the rotisserie chicken recipe and some like golfing predictions for 2020.
Rotisserie chicken recipe. Hey man, here's how to make a really good shrimp fried rice. But also, if you like gutturals and heavy ass breakdowns, here's both of those on the same page.
Basically.
That's hilarious. That is so wild. I mean, so I guess the interview is gonna. I don't know if you guys have a date yet for when the interview is gonna be coming out.
It's on Savannah Now's website. You can go read it.
Okay.
You'd like. Yes, sir.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty interesting, man. It's probably the same person that did that for Depressor a while back. Because I remember everybody was thinking the same thing. It's like, man, what? Huh? What? It has to be the same guy. And when you think about something like that happening, it's probably the same thought that you have, where it's like, man, there has to be some dude there that listens to this kind of stuff that's like wanting to do this. I'm just shocked that he was able to actually clear that stuff and people were able to accept it. Yeah. Because, I mean, obviously for something like hip hop or pop, maybe it might be a lot easier, but it's like, hey, here's this extreme underground metal band, right? Yeah. Like people are like, whoa, dude. So that's pretty funny. Let me check comments here real quick. Couple of things in chat. Can't hear Ben. Okay, we got that fixed. Homicide, thanks for coming by. Jacob Parrott,
Jake, my boy, what's up, buddy?
He said Ben is such a beauty. Well, cool, man. I wanted to chat about that first, man, because that is such a wild wild piece of PR that you guys have there now that you could use. But yeah, I guess we can kind of move on from that. What first got you into music? What started that for you? Do you have a clear-cut answer for that?
Yeah, actually, my sister took me to the FYE in the Savannah Mall when the Ocean Avenue album by Yellow Card came out.
Wow. When was that?
Yeah.
What year was that?
2003, dude. I was 10. Yeah.
Damn. So that's pretty much when it started for you?
Yeah, that was I'd always, liked the song here and there and everything, but I remember like having my little shitty CD player and just like listening to that album on repeat and fell in love with it, dude. And
is that the gray Sony Walkman that you had on the bus that whenever the bus hit a bump, it skipped? Is that the one? Yep. I think we all know what you're talking about. Well, yeah, man, that's awesome, man. So from that point on, what led you to be a vocalist? I mean, everybody has their own story as to how they picked up their instrument, right? For some people, it might be that they got gifted a guitar for Christmas. Drummers, it might be, hey, I want to pick the most expensive hobby possible, right? So as a vocalist, I mean, what geared you towards, or what inspired you to say, hey, I want to scream really loud into a microphone? Where did that come from?
Honestly, dude, like I really can't pin that down to one specific thing. Like when I first started hearing like screaming in music, I hated it. I was like, dude, that sounds like ass. Like, why would anyone do that? And, you know, of course, my gateway drug was Linkin Park. That was everyone's gateway drug. And
you're right.
The more I listened to it, I was like, you know what? I actually kind of like that. And I remember, sitting in front of my my old computer, because every kid growing up, you had the computer room, right? So I remember this is one of the corniest things I've ever admitted on, you know, a public forum.
But I remember
I was watching a Bullet for My Valentine like compilation thing, but it was Gurr from Invader Zim was just like the animation, and it was on a loop for like 45 minutes with a bunch of Bullet for My Valentine songs playing. That's like burned into my brain. And I was like trying to make the scream noises, and it just was not happening. I sounded like Marge Simpson in a blender, dude. It was so bad.
Dude, that actually sounds pretty metal, though.
But I finally got something to come out, and I was like, hell yeah, I got it now. So once I like did it once, I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so cool. Like I have to keep doing this, and now we're here.
yeah. What kind of vocal techniques do you do? Are you more like a fry scream? I'm not a vocalist, so I'm trying to remember. Fry scream. What's the other one? False chord. Right.
Chord,
I mean, do you go
definitely
between certain ones, or do you have a certain preference, or?
Definitely false chord. Because I can do fries. But I just can't project them. I can't make it loud at all.
Yeah.
I haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
So I tried that for years and years and years, and like they sound okay, but it's so quiet, you know?
Yeah.
And then I learned about false chord, which is the loud ones. And, you know, so I do false chord. Most all of my vocals are in like a mid register, you know, like The Ghost Inside, Gideon, Kubla Khan, you know, stuff like that. So yeah.
There ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, let's check a couple comments real quick. Jace Curran, not sure if I'm saying that right, says, yeah, he says, yo, I know that guy. Coastal Rock Productions, yo, it's Tim. Oh, okay, Tim, what's up, man? So Coastal Rock Productions, real quick, Tim, since you're here, we were actually just talking about this a minute ago. Is that the Aurafest, more or less, YouTube channel? Because I was trying to tag it, but I wasn't quite sure, so let me know what's up with that. Also, guys, that people real quick that are on YouTube, I think YouTube has about a 10, 12 second delay. So if we take a second to get to your comments, it's not because we hate you. So yeah, the vocalist thing. So that's how you became a vocalist. You said it was Bullet for My Valentine, and it was the Invader Zim meme repeating, right?
Yeah, that goes no further than this live stream.
yeah. And you started practicing and stuff. So after that, kind of more recent, what events led you to finding your way in Omenkiller? What led you to being the vocalist for that band?
Yeah, so me and my best friend and bassist now, Chris Paramore, we worked together. And I had been talking one morning on Facebook to who used to play drums for us. And I was like, dude, I miss playing music so bad. Because at that time, I had been on like a 7-year hiatus of actually playing music. And it was just killing me, man. And so, yeah, I talked to our drummer at the time. And I was like, dude, even if it's just a studio project, let's do something, you know? And so he was in, and I talked to another guy who worked with us who played guitar, and he was in. So we had drums, we had guitar, we just needed a bassist. And I was talking to my buddy Chris, and I was like, dude, just buy a bass and learn how to play bass for us. Like, we're just going to be writing caveman music. Like, you can totally do it. And he was like, nah, I don't really want to do that. And I was like, hey, that's cool, whatever. And like an hour later, like I walked by where his little workstation was, and he was on his phone on the Facebook Marketplace looking at bass equipment. So we ended up we ended up driving from Savannah, which is where we live, pretty much right outside of Savannah. And we ended up driving from there to Augusta, which is about a 2-hour drive one way, and bought him an entire bass rig that day and headed back. So that's kind of the birth of Omenkiller. So that's how we started. We've gone through some lineup changes, but we're with our forever lineup now.
Awesome.
But that's how things got started. That was back in June of last year.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. When did you guys release your first single? Put it out on the internet?
Yeah, so we dropped our first bit of music early mid-August of this past year. It was a 2-song, like double single, whatever you want to call it. Ache, yes. Yeah, and that had 2 songs on it, Phantom Limb and Gehenna, and we still play those live. They're crowd favorites.
Nice.
So yeah, back in August is when we dropped our first bit of music.
Yeah, checking out your Spotify right now. Anybody listening and watching right now, you can just go to Spotify and type in Omenkiller, and these guys will come up. They have 3 songs on there right now. So is that when you guys started your Spotify? Pretty much was August of last year.
Yeah, we uploaded our music like the day before, like we went public with it, because we didn't know how to do the whole like scheduled release thing, Yeah, I'm a dum-dum. I got it figured out now, though.
Yeah, hey, sometimes you got to learn the hard way, right?
Yeah. It just kind of popped up, and everyone was like, dude, your band is on Apple Music and Spotify. I was like, oh shit, that wasn't supposed to be till like tomorrow. So
whoops.
Yeah, whoops.
Ain't no thing. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome, man. You guys already have 2,500 monthly listeners. I mean, your 3 tracks here are getting a lot of plays. So I mean, that's considering you just started that back in August, man. That's good numbers. Do you guys do ads or anything, like Spotify ads?
We did for when 8 came out. I think it was like a week after we published it. We put a pretty good bit of money behind some like targeted Spotify ads and stuff. A friend of mine like does that like as a side hustle, and he helped me with that, and I really appreciate that. But for Nemesis, the last single that we put out, we actually didn't do any sort of ads whatsoever, so all of that listenership is totally organic. Which is fucking crazy to me, honestly. So I feel very blessed to have like a good amount of listeners this early on, and people resonating with our music feels really good. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, to just start your Spotify and have that many that soon, I mean, with or without ads is badass for sure. That's awesome, man. Props to you guys.
Thank you, brother.
Tim says, yep, it's the Orfest channel. I need to update the name. Have not been active here, but will give me a reason to update. Hey, there you go.
There you go.
I wish there was a way actually to do collaboration streams. That would be pretty cool. So we could do 2 streams on one stream on 2 channels, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah. Randall Cumby?
Yeah.
Says Bussies.
Hey, Randall.
Is it like a Gary Bussies? Gary Bussies? Is that what that is? So yeah, that's awesome. So I guess my next question was going to be what led the band to get together, but I mean, you pretty much already explained that. So as for Omenkiller, what inspiration do you guys pull from? I mean, as far as bands that you guys get inspired by the most, I mean, who do you think comes out in your music the most from you guys' inspiration?
I think a band that we would all agree on that definitely comes out in our music is the Acacia Strain. They're legends of heavy music. They're the best heavy band that's ever existed, in my opinion. I may be a little biased, but I absolutely love the Acacia Strain. I just we all love just how heavy and relentless their music is. We like them a lot. Kubla Khan, we like them a lot. Those 2 are definitely the biggest influences on our music, I'd say. I can't really play guitar to save my life, honestly. I can write breakdowns all day, but other than that, I can't do shit with a guitar. Yeah. The acacia strains definitely influence my writing a lot, and me and my guitarist, when we hang out and like write stuff together, I can definitely like hear the acacia strain and the stuff that we write.
Yeah, for sure. What is your writing process like? Who's the band dad? Who does the writing? Who doesn't do the writing? Who's the guy that you just say, hey, play this riff? You're the hired gun. I mean, what roles do you guys have in the writing and in the creative process as far as, okay, one of us has this idea, or we put together some ideas, or we don't have any ideas? Yeah. Like, how does that work for you guys? Because every band has their own dynamic with that.
Yeah, I think we have a really good writing process. Our guitarist Lilith is, I would say, does like the heavy lifting as far as writing goes, because she's a very good guitarist and has a good ear for writing. But we all, contribute. And if Lily has, a bit of writer's block, me and Chris and Jace kind of try and, pilot for a little bit and see where we can take it. But I mean, we usually just hang out, put back a couple of beers and just chill and see where it takes us. I mean, sometimes it's funny because the last song that we wrote, that we're playing around with right now, we were at work and I just had like a breakdown stuck in my head. And when we finally got home, I was like, dude, we got to record this. And we recorded it and ended up sitting there for like 3 hours and wrote a whole song, so
damn, it's awesome.
It's pretty spur of the moment, when we actually pump full songs out. But we have a nice writing process. As far as like roles in the band go, I'm definitely band dad. I'm the oldest, so I guess it just comes with that. But I handle kind of all of our like PR, I guess, our social medias, all that kind of stuff, which I love doing that stuff. So it doesn't bother slightest. Lily handles like our pre-pro, getting things sent off to our producer for mixing and mastering. She handles pretty much everything with like our live sound set up, getting our backing tracks set up for live shows, things like that.
Nice.
Chris and Jace are both kind of jack of all trades. Like they're where they're needed at all times. Chris has a nice truck that we use for our work truck, and he drives us, to our shows. We're blessed enough to have a trailer that Chris bought, so we can carry our equipment and that. So he really steps in heavily with kind of, taking the reins with driving and getting us to where we need to go. And Jace just joined 3 shows ago. So he's getting his sea legs really well. I'm super proud of the kid. He's 18 years old, and he's one of the best drummers I've ever had the pleasure of playing with. And, that's awesome. So he's really enjoying it, which makes me happy. I wish I was doing this kind of stuff when I was 18, man. I wasn't doing shit when I was 18.
Yeah.
So, we all have a place, and it works really well.
Cool, man. Yeah, that's awesome. How many people are in the band? 5 of you guys? Four? So you're vocalist, Lily's plays guitar, bassist, drummer, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Chris plays bass, and Jace is our drummer.
Got you. How do you guys, kind of interested here real quick, we won't touch on this too long, but how do you guys handle backing tracks exactly? There's a lot of different ways that people do this, but how do you guys handle it?
I'm going to describe this to the best of my knowledge, which is very little.
Okay.
This is one of those things that is just like over my head. Like I get it, but I don't. So we're about to get like a nice laptop for all of our backing tracks and everything. But for right now, we have an iPad that I bought a couple of years ago, and we have like an entire Google Drive, like with our whole set loaded onto it. And the set itself has the backing tracks panned one direction, and then the click track panned the other. And then we just have the click running to Jace's ears, and then the backtracks go to house. So gotcha. I probably butchered that at some point, but at least
that's fairly common. Yeah, that makes sense. Real quick, Aurafest. Oh, he said Boom Channel is now Aurafest. Okay, so I guess Tim just changed it from Coastal Rock. Damn, he upgraded the profile pic and everything. So now Aurafest is officially here.
Sweet.
Jacob said Jace has thick drumsticks. Okay. This could mean a lot of different things, but all right. Feel that. I was going to ask about your recording process, but it seems like Lily's the one taking care of the pre-production stuff, which is just essentially scratch tracks, and then you guys send it off to somebody and have them do it. Who's doing the mixing and mastering on your end right now, or for you guys right now?
Yeah, so I do want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Taylor Moats. He did all of my vocal recording at his place for the EP we're about to release, and I deeply appreciated him handling that.
Shout out Taylor.
To answer your question, yeah, Lily handles all of the pre-pro, all of the scratch tracks, and we're sending it off to Heart Piercer Studios. And I feel bad because I don't know a lot about this guy, because our old drummer found him, and he's from an Eastern European country, one of the nicest dudes I've ever talked to in my life. He mostly produces like rap and hip hop and pop and stuff like that, and like some rock here and there. So this was like his first journey into like heavy music, and he's awesome, dude. Like, he produced Nemesis, and he did what we wanted with it, which was just beefy, a wall of sound, you know. And we
so he did, real quick, he did the whole mix, not just the vocals.
Right.
So vocals and everything. Okay.
Yeah, he mixed my vocals and the music and everything. And we just yesterday got back the master tracks for our EP, and it sounds so good, man. I'm so excited to launch this, because
let him have it, dude. Drop it on us.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Manhack is fucking doing the thing. But like, this is my first time being in a band that has like well produced music, so it feels good.
That's awesome, man. How's that feel?
Dude,
yeah.
It's honestly,
that's awesome, man. Well, you guys have deserved it for sure, or you guys have earned it, and you've deserved it always. But I mean, it seems like you all are putting a lot of work into that and trying your best to make it a well-oiled machine. So that's awesome, man. Good for you guys.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Rodolfo, can't say that last name. Oh wow, I didn't realize we were interviewing Pokemon. What's a Wild Blastoise doing here?
That's my boy Rudy. A
lot of inside jokes happening right now.
My friend, man.
That's funny. Jay says I play with marching sticks, literally tree trunks. Hey man, I bet you got some wild ass forearms happening. And actually, Jace, while you're here, real quick, let me ask you: do you ever play? I was thinking about this recently. Do you ever play with heavy sticks on purpose and then switch to lighter ones, and then that makes you feel like you're faster? Is that something that drummers do? I was kind of interested in that, Jace, if you want to let us know here. Ask Ben to sing some At Heart, Give the People What They Want.
That's not happening.
I don't know what that is, but Ben ain't going to do it.
That's my first band from like...
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Rodolfo, if that's any indication, shoot, he's doing great and a natural. Fire emoji. Yeah, man. So kind of talking about your music a little bit more. Let's get into the whole genre thing, right? Everybody's favorite nuanced discussion. What type of specific genre would you call Omenkiller?
I guess deathcore, man. Like, if I had to pin us to one genre, it would be deathcore. Mm-hmm. I really don't feel like we completely belong in deathcore, because we have a lot of hardcore elements. My vocals definitely aren't deathcore vocals. But if I had to align us with one thing, it would probably be deathcore. That just feels like the closest thing to pin us to.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that fits. The whole genre thing is kind of, I don't know. I mean, I understand. I'd like to actually get your opinion on this, about genre debates and stuff like that. I mean, do you feel like it's necessary really getting into the nitty gritty specifics about this band? Is there specific genre, core, subgenre thing? Or do you think it's overthought a little too much?
I think it's a little of both. I really feel like some people go a little too far with like trying to make these ridiculous subgenres, but I do feel like some subgenre-ing is necessary, because I don't feel like I feel like it's all right in general conversation to kind of blanket everything as metal, you know, if it's heavy, but like say everything is just metal, then you're going to throw Whitechapel in with Bad Omens, you know,
and Ghosts or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're like trying to, you know, recommend music to someone, I definitely think, you know, having a little bit of genre pickiness and labeling is beneficial, but I definitely think some people overdo it a bit.
Okay, understandable. Rodolfo says, in reference to the guy who has been doing the mixing, I guess that was what we were chatting about earlier. Jay says, no, I have absolutely humongous hands. Anything smaller than a marching stick is too small, and I think they sound weak. Yeah, well, there you go. If you got big-ass hands, I guess you need big-ass sticks. That's what she said. Randall said, face punch core. There you go. That's a good genre. One that always comes to mind is moshcore. I don't even know if that's a real genre or not, but yeah, right. I mean, you look at bands like Kubla Khan. I mean, I don't know what genre technically they would be considered, but I mean, they play with deathcore bands, metalcore bands, but they could also fit on a hardcore bill, I believe.
Yeah, that's kind of the way we want to be, just kind of compatible with anything that's got breakdowns in it, honestly. Yeah,
for sure. Rodolfo says, real fans know Omenkiller is a bluegrass group waiting to enter the mainstream.
Yeah,
grasscore, bluegrass core, blue core. Yeah, so if you were to describe your music to somebody else outside of genres, so not using a genre, how would you describe the music then that Omenkiller typically creates? Like, what adjectives would you use? What other type of imagery would you use to kind of paint that picture for somebody?
Angry, for sure. Angry. I feel like that's the only word to describe our music is just pissed off.
Pissed off and angry. Hey, that works. What's a goal that you guys have for the band? Most bands want big things. We want big numbers, right? We want all the streams. We want all the royalties, right? We want to play all the shows. I mean, but is there something for you guys that you have really specific, like 2 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road? What's a really big goal for you guys that you want to accomplish?
I really couldn't tell you, dude, honestly. And I know that sounds really bad, but like we really didn't think it was going to pick up at the pace that it has. And we didn't think that we were actually going to like go as far with it as we have already. And I mean, we feel nothing short of immensely blessed that it has. But you know, that's kind of left us in a weird position of like, what is next? Because we've all had a dream of touring in a heavy metal band, and now we're going to do that in March, and then again in June, and then again in August. So it's like, okay, we've got that down, you know, so what is next? And I feel like I speak for all of Omenkiller when I say like finding a good label and, you know, getting taken in by them is probably our next like big bucket list item. I really want to be careful with doing that though, because I've heard a lot of horror stories of bands getting signed to, you know, God tier, you know, heavy labels, and then they get really, really bad contracts and really bad. And, you know, I know that can go poorly, so I'm trying to avoid that. But I guess getting signed to a good size label is kind of next on our hopeful trajectory.
Okay. Yeah, that's understandable for sure. Yeah. The label thing is really interesting because, I mean, I kind of feel like you don't need a label now as much as you did in the past, right? I mean, you can do your own PR. You can make your own social media blow up. Recording music now is easier than it ever has been. So, I mean, even though that takes some time to do it yourself, I mean, even that, if you add that, I mean, you can do your own merch, your designs. I mean, so it's kind of, it gets to a point where it's like, why do I need a label? Like, just for you to skim off the top all of my royalties. So it's kind of, you're right. But that I think that is a reasonable goal, though, for sure, is to still find a label that's not going to screw you.
Yeah, exactly. I will keep complete anonymity in telling you this, but I have a pretty close friend who's in a very big band, like national touring. Well, actually now technically international touring.
Oh, nice.
We kind of grew up together on Facebook, but their band got recruited by a very big label who, again, I won't say who, but it's one of those that every band wants to be on, And they got their contract, and they had a lawyer read it to them, and the lawyer was like, "Hey, do you understand what's being told to you in this contract?" And they were like, "Well, no, that's why we hired you." Mm-hmm. And essentially, the contract was saying to not release any music until they tell you to release music, and if you go out on your own and try and reform and rebrand another band with that music, that they can sue you. So it was like complete captivity of all of your creative ideas, that you have no agency over your own art, over your own talent. And I was just like, wow, like you got to be careful out there.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I'm pretty sure we all have horror stories of either people individually, maybe somebody watching this, or friends that we know that have all been in that. I personally know somebody who was signed to a really big label. Again, no names, but they got screwed. Essentially, the rug got pulled out from under them, and they had to spend literal thousands of dollars. I forgot the exact number, to buy their music back, just so they could say that they owned it again. Like, it's ours. Yeah. I mean, screw that. Right? So yeah, you definitely have to be careful with that for sure. Yeah. So talking about shows and stuff, where have you guys performed at recently?
Recently, this past weekend, we had a short little weekender. We had a show in Atlanta at Sweetwater Bar and Grill. Well, technically Duluth. It's like 25 minutes south of Atlanta. So Atlanta.
Yeah, I remember seeing that one. That one was with God Tongue and Six, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
God Tongue, Six, and another band called Planetary Ghost. And I don't know why, man. I guess I'm not a pessimist at all, but I just didn't think there was going to be a turnout at that show for some reason. And I was so mistaken. It was an unbelievable turnout, and every band absolutely killed it. Like, I hadn't even heard of Planetary Ghost until they got added, and they were phenomenal. It was like tech death kind of stuff, which usually isn't really my cup of tea, but they were unbelievable, man. And they were the nicest dudes. All of the bands there were incredible. So that was an awesome night. What wasn't awesome was the 4.5 hour drive there, playing a set, waiting until all of the bands played, and then driving 4.5 hours back home to get like 3 hours of sleep to drive down to Jacksonville and play the next day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was rough. But we got to play with Left to Suffer and Bro Job, which was really cool.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So that was a blessing. We got to play with a lot of really cool, like, local Florida talent as well. Got to play with a band called Lost Trees that my friend Austin plays in, and they were so cool. They were really good. So yeah, we had those couple of shows last weekend. That was fun. Before that, we've just played around different parts of Georgia, South Carolina. So yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. Seems like you guys have some, for what I see here, you guys are going to be in Texas soon.
Yes.
Is that the furthest you guys have ever went out for a show?
Yes, definitely.
Is that a series of shows? Like, do you have any connecting, or is it just, hey, we're just going from Georgia to Texas? Like, how's that working out for you?
So yeah, it's funny how that worked out, man, because a dude named Zachary Robertson reached out to Chris, our bassist, early in Omenkiller's career. Shortly after we dropped Ache. I honestly think it was before September, so it was in the couple of weeks right after we dropped Ache. But he reached out to Chris, and he was like, hey, would you guys be interested in coming out to Houston to play like a mini festival? And we were like, yeah, like, and at the time we thought it was just going to be Houston that we were going to, but we were down for it. I mean, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
But it was crazy, dude, because the next couple of days after that, we ended up having, so the Houston date is February 12th. Then I believe Lily our guitarist, got us a date the 10th in Denton, Texas. The guys in Gut Check helped us get that. And then we ended up getting on a festival on the 11th called Bloodbath on the Bay, I believe, in Corpus Christi.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands on that. I'm looking at the flyer for that right now.
Yeah, it's wild. There's like Cell, Peeling Flesh. We got lucky enough that all three of those Texas festival dates were playing with Gut Check and Heavy Hitter. So we're
nice.
Kind of like a mini tour, a mini Texas tour with those boys. So I'm really stoked for
That's
that.
awesome,
but we did
man.
get one connecting date in Florida in the Panhandle. So we're not going all the way to Texas just to play those shows. And it kind of cuts the trip up a little bit too, you know?
Yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome, man. That's got to be really exciting for you guys.
Yeah, we're stoked for sure, man. I'm terrified to see Cell live. I feel like I'm going to die.
Don't stand too close to the pit.
Nope.
Rodolfo says, I guess he said, we don't need another Suge Knight situation. Talking about the label stuff like we were a minute ago. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Definitely don't want any of that kind of stuff happening.
No.
Do you have any favorite venues, favorite shows that you've played in your stint as Omenkiller? Any shows that have really stuck out to you guys?
Yeah, so my favorite show that we've played, that's hard. That's a toss-up. I think my favorite show that we've played was our first show with our new drummer Jace. It was at the Ridgeville Roadhouse. It was just a really fun night. It was cool kind of getting to see Jace come into his own as, you know, a drummer for a heavy band. And I could tell he was really excited, and that just warmed my heart, you know?
Yeah.
And we got to hang out with a lot of people, make a lot of new friends that night. That was really cool. Behind that, I think we had a show in Gastonia, North Carolina, which is right outside of Charlotte, back in October. And that was a really, really cool show. It was a pretty solid turnout, nothing crazy, but like all the bands we played with were amazing. And we hung out with them afterward, you know, got drinks, and it was just a memorable night. You know, the energy was really good. Everyone was really welcoming. So those two definitely stick out to me as our best nights so far.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, man. That sounds really fun for sure. Do you have a favorite Omenkiller song and or a favorite Omenkiller song to play live?
I think my favorite song and my favorite song to play live. Actually, you know what? That's not true. My favorite song of ours is Nemesis. My favorite song.
Check it out on Spotify.
My favorite song of ours to play live is Phantom Limb, also on Spotify. The reason being is because the last breakdown in Phantom Limb, me and my bassist switch places. I take his bass and he takes the mic, and he finishes the song with vocals, and I play bass. And it's just fun, like a little switch up, you know. I know it's kind of gimmicky or whatever, but like people love it. And when we played in Jacksonville this last weekend, we did that, and like I got down off the stage at the Underbelly, like into the pit, and played that, and people like immediately were like pulling their phones out, like recording it and everything, and I was like, this is cool.
Yeah. That's
like
badass.
we checked the Omenkiller Instagram after that, and there were a ton of people that had like recorded that exact moment and put it on their Instagram story. So that was fun. So yeah, that's why Phantom Limb is my favorite to play live.
Yeah, that's what you want, man. You definitely want a lot of people because that's kind of how you know that you're doing something right. I mean, if somebody can take their phone out and you've left such an impact on them seeing your set to such an extent that they want to take their phone out and start taking up space on their phone to put you on there, right? Yeah, that's a big deal for sure. Yeah, the whole switching members thing too. That's really cool for sure. I'm a fan of that. I'd like to see you guys do that live one day for sure.
For sure.
So if you weren't, go ahead and change this up a little bit. If it wasn't for music, if you didn't have it at all, this might be, I'm not trying to depress anybody, right? But let's just say, hypothetically, you didn't have music at all. You weren't doing this. What do you think you would be just laser focused on right now?
My career, for sure. I'm really into weightlifting.
Nice.
And just like hobbyist bodybuilding. I mean, I'm not going to compete or anything like that. I like food too much for that, but I love weightlifting. I love being in the gym. I'm obsessed with chemistry. And I found a lot of intersectionality between bodybuilding and chemistry, you know. I had a supplement company for a little while. And I like developed pre-workout with my own formulas and everything. That was really fun. That was a good outlet for my brain.
That's awesome.
So that's probably what I'd be doing.
Yeah, that's interesting. The pre-workout thing. Yeah, that's. I feel like a lot of people want to make their own pre-workouts just because it's so hard to find one that you agree with. Right?
Yeah.
You'll find one and it's like, hey, this is cool, but I don't need 700 milligrams of caffeine. Like, you can please stop. Yeah. I don't need 7 grams of beta alanine. Like, we're not going to dive too far into the fitness thing there, but I mean, because a lot of people are going to be like, what the hell are these guys talking about? Yeah. But creating your own pre-workout was probably pretty satisfying because there's so much other random shit out there. Let me ask you too, you brought up an interesting point there about kind of correlations between fitness and chemistry. What did you notice there that was similar?
Oh man, just that there's a lot of interconnectivity in every process in your body, and I didn't really realize that until like I really got into weightlifting and realized how vital sleep was and how vital eating right was, and you know. I don't know. It's just one of those things that hyper fascinates me, is how your body works and reacts to different things. And, you know, yeah. That's really interesting. Where did the love for chemistry come from? How did that start? I have no idea, honestly, man. It's just one of the that it just fascinates me. I mean, like, I'll be on my phone just like reading, you know, clinical trials of a medication that was abandoned for, you know, human use 15 years ago, and I'm like, it got me on the edge of my seat, you know. yeah, for sure. Understandable completely. It's a very niche interest, I guess.
Yeah. Let me see here. Let me actually, we got a couple comments here. Rodolfo says, in all caps, bring back Apex Pre. Snort face emoji, fire.
I'm trying, buddy. I promise.
Is that what the name of your stuff was?
Yeah.
Nice. What real quick, what all did you have in it? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, dude, I couldn't recite that off the top of my head. Yeah, I had a vasodilator complex for pump. You know, it was taurine and citrulline. I had a decent amount of caffeine in there. It was about as much as a little bit less caffeine than a Bang. I had a good nootropic blend, which for those of you who don't know, those are like mental stimulants that don't raise your blood pressure or your heart rate. I studied for a while like the chemical interplay of Adderall and the human like dopamine receptors and serotonin and norepinephrine receptors. And tried to mimic those effects with the nootropic blend that was in Apex. And I think it worked really well because a lot of people were like, dude, I feel like I'm on Adderall right now. Yeah, it was great.
That's
awesome. Dude, I would pop it before, like, I would like dry scoop some of it before going on like super long drives and stuff just to keep me kind of in the zone, you know?
Yeah. Do what you got to do. Yeah, that's awesome, man. It sounds like you really did your research there and you did your due diligence to find stuff that actually works and not just filler. Sure. Did you, was it just straight citrulline or was it citrulline malate?
It was, you know your stuff. Okay, I see.
A little personal training in the day.
okay, fair enough. Yeah. Awesome, dude. It was what we did was we actually used pure citrulline because a lot of people see the like 6 grams of citrulline malate, at a 2-to-1 ratio, and they think they're
getting 6 grams of citrulline. Yeah. Okay.
So we use the full 6 grams of just pure vegan fermented L-citrulline.
Nice.
So you got the full handshake of citrulline. And you can definitely tell the difference.
Yeah, for sure. He said bring back Apex. Ty Rast, last name Rast, says. Oh wait, hold on. Here's some spam that I have to get rid of. Free vert girls chat in U City.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Something tells me that's not legit. I don't think that's a real person. All right. Tyras says, proud AF of you, Ben. I remember years ago we tried to get a band going, didn't work out, and here we are both thriving to our futures. Beer clank emoji.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, dude. Me and Ty, we go way back, dude. He's good people for sure. We tried many times to get some stuff going back when he lived around Savannah, and never really worked out. But it was so great to hang out with him. I wouldn't trade those memories for anything, man. I love you, dude. I can't wait to get out to Cali and see you guys, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I appreciate you coming by, Ty.
For sure.
Rodolfo says, he says, so it was pretty much ketamine.
Yes, exactly.
Orfest says, oh, damn, we got the sex bots. Yeah, we did. I don't even know if I want to read this screen name out loud for fear of getting banned on YouTube, but yeah, pretty phenomenal screen name there that chat bot or that chat account or that spam chat account had. Yeah. Okay. Packy One Chip Challenge boys, go.
I've done that before and I vomited.
Did you? I was just about to ask, what was that like, man?
Horrible, dude. It felt like getting pepper sprayed. It was terrible.
I've never been pepper sprayed, so I can't relate to that. But yeah, screw either of those.
Also, shout out to Ty Rast band Pale Void. They're on Apple Music and Spotify, and they are absolutely phenomenal. So go check them out.
Nice. You said, what was the name of that?
Pale Void, PALEVOID. It's all one word.
Nice. Gravity, Joy and Mystery, Nomad.
Yes.
Nomad. Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Gravity is crazy, dude. I love that song.
What kind of genre are they? What kind of music?
They're like heavy metalcore, like some slight like Genty influence almost, but they're absolutely killer, man. They're so good.
Nice. Yeah, we'll check that out. Yeah, just kind of wondering, just kind of generally speaking, perhaps this can relate to your band and your music career, but what's the best advice that you think you've ever been giving?
Definitely, and I know it's kind of basic, run of the mill advice, but treat other people how you want to be treated, and I feel like that's a very, very, very important thing to remember in the music scene, because I feel like some people can either be humbled by music and the opportunities that it brings, or they can get really egotistical about it and treat people a certain way once they get a little bit of notoriety. And I definitely, I pray that God keeps me humble and keeps all of us humble, and doesn't let any little tiny little microscopic bit of fame that we ever may get go to our heads, because I always want people to know, whether it's one person in the crowd or 1,000, that I appreciate them being there, and that I'm just happy to have their listenership, their friendship, so yeah. Treat people, be nice.
Yeah, it's called the golden rule for a reason, right?
That's right.
Harlan, Saved Official.
Yes.
I guess Harlan Saved is the band.
Yes.
Says,
yes.
Love you, Ben.
I love you, dude. You are the best. That's my buddy.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, but yeah, kind of going back to what you just said about the golden rule and treat others how you want to be treated, and specifically about people in the industry. I think we've all kind of noticed that before, where people will be in bands and their band starts to blow up, and then it's kind of like they just morph a little bit and it kind of change, and you're like, what's happening right now?
For sure.
So yeah, it's definitely good, like you said, to keep that mindset where you have that perspective. Honestly, I mean, really, that all comes down to perspective. I mean, are you as an individual able to look at yourself from kind of a 50,000 foot point of view and say, "Hey, you messing up?
Yeah,
calm down." We're all under the sun, right? So yeah, that's a good rule to keep for sure.
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll take this opportunity. We've been going for about an hour, and we've had a lot of good discussions. So kind of as a wrap up here, take the opportunity. Anything you want to say to your fans? Anything that you want to plug, promote? Shows coming up, new stuff coming out? Anything at all? What do you got to say?
For sure, yeah. Let's see, we got our show on the 13th at El Rocco with our buddies in Severed by Dawn, Shallow, and Corrupted Empire. All of those guys are amazing. We played with Severed by Dawn before, and they're masters of their craft, and they're amazing guys. We have a show in Columbus, 14th, and we are super stoked about that.
Columbus, Georgia.
Yes, sorry.
Are you good?
Getting with a lot of friends that we haven't played with yet, and I'm very excited to make some new friends in the scene. Our EP's dropping soon. Stoked about that. And yeah, I mean, we have our little Texas run. We have the honor of going all the way up to Ontario in March.
Wow.
I'm very excited about that. We're doing a kind of New England into Ontario run. Shout out to our management, DM, booking and management. Dustin is the man. We would not be doing 90% of what we're doing without him. He's good people to work with for sure. But yeah, I mean, the amount of support that we've gotten since we started has been absolutely overwhelming. I mean, every day when we're at work, we just talk about how blessed we are. Honestly,
yeah.
It feels surreal sometimes, but it's a blessing, and we've made so many awesome friends and connections, and yeah, I love you guys, and I appreciate every single one of you. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you having me on that. It's been a blast, and yeah, I'm stoked to see where this goes.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, we appreciate you coming on, man. Thanks so much for sorting out the technical difficulties there at the beginning.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I mean, we appreciate you coming on, man. And I probably speak on the behalf of Tim here with Orifest and saying the same thing. And yeah, for sure. I mean, you guys seem like you're doing the right thing, man. And you are pumping out music. You just uploaded stuff to Spotify in August and you're already playing in Texas and Canada. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
Slow down, man. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. That's awesome, man. Good for you guys. But yeah, everybody on YouTube, thanks so much for coming by. Into the YouTube description, there's links, Omenkiller's link tree, where you can get to all their social media. You can go see all their Spotify stuff. There's also Omenkiller's email if you want to contact them about anything. Rodolfo says, awesome interview. This was sweet. Thanks so much for coming by, man. We appreciate it.
Love you, Rudy.
Orifest, Metal Horns. Orifest, let's definitely do this again for sure. This has been awesome. Thankfully, this was easy to set up. So usually whenever you set up a live stream, it's like, oh, how many things are going to go wrong? But no, this actually worked out. So let's definitely do this again. But yeah, Ben, thank you guys so much. Everybody watching, if you haven't checked out Omenkiller, go do that right now. So yeah, we're gonna close out. So Ben, thank you so much, man. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Have a good night, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
Guys, be safe.